Hey guys, Tanner here with Utility Disc Golf, coming at you with episode number 8 of the Stay Fly podcast, and there's a lot to cover today. I would say that the main thing we're going to talk about is player movement still. Last week I thought we would be the most shocked in the offseason with Paul McBeth leaving Innova after 12 years, but sure enough, Ricky Wysocki had to one-up him like he does in a lot of tournaments, and he is also leaving Latitude after 4 years. There's a lot of speculation on where these two are going. I think it's almost 100% certain that Paul is going to Discraft. I haven't seen any actual news, but based on the overwhelming response on social media and on comments on photos and things like that, I think he's definitely going to Discraft. And he was also in a Discraft ad. If you guys saw our Instagram, I thought it was pretty interesting when I was watching one of the disc golf guys' YouTube videos that Paul McBeth was in the middle of a Discraft ad. Some people are saying that that's not a for sure sign that he's going to Discraft. Some are just saying that the tournament where he shot -18, they were using Discraft baskets, so Discraft was using Paul in that ad just because of the baskets. But I think it's because he is on their team now. Or it could just be that he's off contract with Innova, so Discraft is able to have a free agent in their promotional video. Whatever you think is going on, you can probably leave it in the comment section below, but I still think Paul is staying at Discraft. And Ricky's leaving Latitude, and I'm thinking that the overwhelming response that I've seen online is that Ricky is also going to leave to another big team, and he's going to be taking over where Paul left off, is what most people think. They think he's going back to Innova. The main reason why people are thinking that is because if you go on to Ricky's Instagram, Drew Gibson is either trolling us or he's not very good at keeping a secret, because he's basically saying squad life and can't wait to have you on the team. And yeah, I think he could be trolling, but I think Drew's kind of let it out of the bag that Ricky Wysocki is going to Innova. And a lot of people say that Ricky threw Innova before he threw for Latitude and Prodigy, so he could just be going back to his roots of what he started out with. Maybe he just wants a change of scenery. He didn't play as well this year, in my opinion, as his previous year, so maybe he just needs to change something up in his game, and a new sponsor and a new group of fans is maybe what he wants. I know that he is trying to get his Sake Bomb brand up and going, and Innova might have a better deal with him as far as making custom stamps or helping him out with that. I'm not exactly sure the reasoning behind it, but I'm thinking he's going to Innova. I can't think of any other companies that are even on the table as far as what people think he's going to go. So I'll just read what Ricky said as far as his statement around leaving Latitude from his Instagram. It says, "Was recently faced with a decision around which manufacturer I wanted to partner with going forward. Officially, I'd like to announce that Latitude 64 and I are parting ways. This was not an easy decision, as my time with Latitude has been outstanding. Proud to say my first 2 World Championships were while I was throwing Latitude. It's been a great run for the last 4 years. The company has been supportive on things I chose to do and ideas I had. The simple fact of winning back-to-back world titles with their products and support speaks for itself. Latitude was a company I felt comfortable with and confident in, and will always look positively on my time with them." So it sounds like it might just be a business decision for Ricky leaving Latitude. It doesn't sound like there's any bad blood between the two. If we head over to Latitude 64 statement that was released about the same time that Ricky released his statement, it says, "From the co-founder and CEO, David Berglund, this is one of those texts you are never prepared to write. It is with a heavy heart I'm informing you that Ricky Wysocki has decided to take on new adventures and leave the Latitude 64 family. Our 4-year relationship with Ricky has been a great one, including back-to-back World Championship titles and countless big wins on the tour. There are so many great memories that I could write a book about them. The most memorable one for me is Ricky's first PDGA Worlds win back in 2016 in Emporia, Kansas. Also, the countless times we have seen a dagger sail away from Ricky's hand from 50 feet, safely landing in the basket, and followed up with a signature Raptor run. Ricky, you will be truly missed by all of us, and we wish you all the best on your new path." So if we head over to Drew Gibson's profile, we can kind of see some of the hints that he's been dropping around Ricky leaving and going to Innova. So his most recent post is a picture of him and Ricky that looks like it's at GBO last year. And it basically just says that I hope to see your next venture in the sport be more successful than the previous ones. No matter who either of us have played for, we've been close. Let's keep it that way and continue to thrive. And then some hashtags at the bottom are Wysocki Gibson Industries and hashtag team. And then there's a ton of comments underneath that, all speculating that he's going to Innova because of the hashtag team reference, I'm guessing. And I remember seeing a couple other posts from Drew about Ricky. Maybe it's on Ricky's profile. I know that when he commented on Ricky's statement post about leaving Latitude 64, he was the first to comment, and he said, "Not all heroes wear capes." So it's not really a tell, but you can tell that Drew is kind of all over Ricky's Instagram right now, trying to stir the pot a little bit. If anybody's seen any other teams or speculations that Ricky is going to go to, I'd like to hear it in the comments, because all I've really seen is Innova. The only other company I can think of that he might go to is probably back to Prodigy. But if you think about it, Chris Dickerson kind of, lit it up at the end of the year, and so he's a pretty mainstay as far as the Prodigy team. He just bought Nate Sexton's RV, so him and his wife are going to be touring a lot more next year. So I'm going to assume that Chris Dickerson's going to be on a lot more lead cards and feature cards going into next year's season. They have Seppo from Europe, who's just basically the same as Simon or Eagle, just a long bomber and can putt really well. And he's always on the top of the leaderboards when he plays tournaments. And then they have Paul Ulibarri, who played really well at Worlds this year. He played really good at the U.S. Championships, and he's always, in the top 10, it seems like, when it comes to tournaments. So I can't really see why they would want to add another heavy hitter to Prodigy, except to maybe drive sales. But if I had to guess, Ricky is going to be taking over Paul's shoes over at Innova. The other news that I've heard a little bit is that Eagle, I think, is in a contract year, but he's made a statement that he's going to stay with Discmania. So I don't think there's any speculation that he's going to leave Discmania. I think he's just going to re-sign, but he hasn't signed a contract yet. And I was watching an interview on the Behind the Shield live Facebook video. I think that's what it's called, with Avery Jenkins. And Simon was on there, and he basically said that he was really pushing to have Eagle stay on the team because they're the Crush Boys, and they're kind of both the face of Discmania's pro team right now. So I can't imagine Eagle leaving Discmania, but that's another kind of rumor that I've heard, that he might be leaving and that Paul Ulibarri might be leaving Prodigy. But those are both just rumors. I've just seen little comments here and there about that. But I don't think anything's going to be as big as Paul leaving Innova or Ricky leaving Latitude 64. So for all you plastic collectors out there, there's probably going to be a rise in Paul Macbeth signature discs, and probably definitely a rise in the Saki Bomb collection that he's been doing with the custom stamps, because you're not probably going to find a Ricky Wysocki custom stamped Explorer or Harp or anything like that, at least for, until his next contract's up. So if you're a disc collector, I'd probably say invest in Paul Macbeth Innova stuff and Ricky Wysocki Latitude 64 stuff. I'm really excited for all the new plastic that's going to be coming out and what kind of signature discs people are going to be throwing. This next season is going to be interesting. The other person that is going to be leaving, I think Sarah Hokum is still leaving Legacy Discs for MVP. Again, I haven't seen anything on that except for that little slip up on YouTube that was on our previous episode of the Stay Fly podcast. But yeah, this off season is crazy. There's way more player movement this offseason than I can remember in the past. I've only been really following the sport for about 3 years, so I could be wrong. There could have been a time where a lot more players were jumping ship to play other teams, but it seems like disc golf has become so big now. Not that it's really big, but it's growing so fast that player switching teams and free agency is becoming a topic that a lot of people want to talk about, and that's really exciting for the sport. It almost kind of feels like we're in like the NFL offseason or any other major sports organization where you're trying to guess where your favorite player is going to go, if they're going to re-sign with their team, or if somebody else is going to pick them up or offer them better money. But I think it's exciting to see all these players move. I think Discraft is going to get a nice bump in sales. It'll be interesting to see what Paul throws. I don't really know Discraft's lineup that well, so I can't even speculate as far as his driver or putters or anything like that. But I do know Innova, and I think Ricky is going to be liking the disc. If I had to guess, he'd probably putt with a KC Pro AVR. His upshot disc, I would assume, is going to be probably a Gator or a Mortar, maybe a Rhino like Greg Barsby throws. I think those are probably going to be more similar to his Harp than any other disc, if he wants to stay consistent with his bag that's right now. I think his Explorer is probably going to turn into a T-Bird or a Thunderbird, maybe take after Paul and throw a T-Bird 3. And then, his driver's going to be a Destroyer. I mean, hashtag not a fanboy, but that's what most pros are going to be throwing. And it'll also be cool because Ricky will also be able to throw Discmania, so maybe he'll throw a PD2. His forehand disc might be a Firebird, could be an FD3. It's interesting to see what he'll start bagging and what will become popular and what might become his signature disc with Innova, because with his name, he's going to have a signature disc for the tournament season. And if I had to guess, it's probably going to be something in that putter range, maybe a Rhino or something like that, or maybe his own like 2-time Destroyer, which would be pretty cool. So if you guys are interested in having a little fun, I think it'd be cool if you comment down below what you think Paul's bag is going to look like next year, whether you think he's playing for Discraft or another company, and comment what you think Ricky's bag is going to look like at Innova or whatever other company you think he's going to go to. And then based on who's the most accurate, maybe I'll come back to this video once they get released, what teams they're on and what their in the bags look like. I can do a giveaway to see whoever was closest to guessing the most accurate bag. Thanks for listening to podcast number 8. This is, again, just another kind of update video on player movement in the off-season for 2018. If you guys want to see more disc golf content, be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We have a lot of daily stuff on Instagram and Facebook if you want to stay in contact with Utility Disc Golf there. And we're going to be having a couple giveaways for the rest of the month of November. An H5 giveaway from Prodigy and an Athletico disc golf bag from an Amazon company, Athletico. So be on the lookout for those giveaways later this month. And until next time, stay fly.